The pizza order I'll never forget. I delivered for Domino's Pizza in the early 2000s. I took an order that went to an apartment complex on the edge of town. When I arrived, the front door was wide open. I knocked on the door and I heard a voice telling me to come in. I walked into the apartment and made my way to the living room. There was a man sitting on the ground. A wheelchair was on the other side of the room. I asked if he was okay and he told me he had to sleep in the floor because he didn't have a bed. I looked around the apartment and noticed he had no furniture. He only had an overhead light and nothing else. I pulled his order out of the bag and told him the price. He then told me he had no money but hadn't eaten in a few days. I was new at the job and didn't know what the policy would be for something like this. I told him I couldn't give him his pizza and apologized over and over. He told me he understood and I left. When I got back to the store, I told the manager about what happened. He asked me if I wanted to give the guy the pizza. I told him I did, but I didn't want to get in trouble. He told me it was okay because he knew I believed the guy and also because of the guy's living situation. The manager walked over to a computer and deleted the order. He then told me to grab a few cans of pop and some wings that were never picked up. He then told me we couldn't do this all the time, but there were times when it was the right thing to do, and I could make that decision the next time. I drove back over to the guy's house and knocked on the open door again. He told me to leave the door open because it helped keep the apartment cool. I was called into the apartment and saw the guy was still on the floor. He saw that I was still carrying his order and his face lit up. I told him I was bringing his food back along with some other things. He was so thankful. He told me this food would last him a week and asked me to put everything on the counter. The man then proceeded to thank me. I apologized and told him I wanted to help, but I didn't know if it was okay. We talked for a bit before I had to go back to work. The whole interaction made me sad. The guy was really nice, but handed a shit card in life. He never ordered from us again, and I have no idea what happened to him. I wish I had checked on him at least one more time, but I didn't, and I kind of regret it.